Good morning, team. Welcome to our morning note. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of G.A.R Capital. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to join me today and every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's go ahead and talk markets, shall we? Dow futures down 157 points, NASDAQ down 0.57%, S&P futures down 0.45%, 3863. Russell 2000 doing the worst, down 1%. Bitcoin futures down 6.39%, 51,155. Crude futures down 3%, 59.37. Gold futures down a quarter point, 17.29. Silver futures down 2.64% at 24.57. Copper futures down 2.66% at $3.95. Euro dollar down about 8 pips, 118.02. Dollar yen is up 39 pips, 0.37%, 109.10 for my Forex people. Dollar index is creeping to that 200-day moving average on the daily that we talked about, 92.67. Still not there yet. The VIX quietly is still at still slightly below 22, up 3.73%. Really nowhere to hide. Even though bonds are up, bond yields are down. Interesting enough, down 16 basis points at 1.598. So the correlation between bonds and bond yields and the markets and tech really doesn't work. We posted that on Twitter regarding the yields. Again, it's not as simple as that, oh, if yields go up, stocks go down. It's not that simple. I think it's more of the violence of the move, meaning the volatility of the move. Again, if you start boosting up 50, 60 basis points in a day, then of course there'll be some kind of movement in the markets. But for the most part, what you're seeing here, and we're going to go ahead and look at some charts here and go over some levels, is bonds are kind of not a big deal in regards to yields moving up. Fundamentally speaking, when yields do go up, it really does show that it's a risk on, meaning stock markets should go up because people are taking more risk and they don't want fixed income at low rates. They want higher rates. So they were selling bonds in order to buy equities. We actually saw more equities, more inflow into QQQ tech the last couple of days than before. So than weeks prior. So what you're seeing here could be one or two things. It could be just some profit taking to the end of the quarter. As you know, the 31st is the end of the quarter. Quarter rebalancing, of course, we got to see exactly, are we going to get more fixed income buying, or are we going to get more equity buying, some equity selling? Kind of reminds me of last year. Keep in mind the perspective, really only down about 2.3%, 2.4% off all-time highs on S&P, maybe 2.5%. NASDAQ is flirting again with correction territory. A lot of the high flyers, Zoom, Peloton, the stay-at-home names have been the ones that have been hit. Keep in mind, guys, we are reopening the economy soon. So all those names that really had high revenue because people were at home are going to take a hit. So again, Zoom, Peloton, those kind of names, the stay-at-home economy, they're the ones that really getting hit. So again, obviously, would that revenue match that it was before when there was lockdowns? Probably not. But again, the opportunity is out there for the reopening names, your airlines, industrials, the financials, those that were equally beaten down. Again, that's why you saw some rotation energy too. But again, when we have the big old ship blocking the Suez Canal, it is hurting some logistics, obviously. Crude shouldn't be down. For that being said, it should be up. But again, sometimes white is black and black is white, and sometimes you're back and forth. So again, enough to drive you nuts, obviously. Kind of reminds me a little bit, guys, of last March where we had our investment seminar. It was a free one on YouTube, and we talked about, again, it was a whole different ballgame from now. You're talking about how many circuit breakers were hit. You're talking about a 30%, 33%, actually it was about 31% drop from all-time highs in February. So quickly, too. We had circuit breakers hit. People were panicking, of course. So, as an investor, I have not sold anything. Nothing has changed. Am I looking for things to buy? Absolutely. This is why it's important to have some cash on the side. You know, at least 10 to 15% in cash in your portfolio ready to buy some beaten down names. So no alerts really have hit here yet. I mean, there's nothing really to buy as of yet. I haven't had any kind of a big flush in order to buy something. So again, I have my alerts up with Investment Club, but nothing really yet. In regards to trading this, yes, there are some levels that are some key levels to watch, and I posted it on Twitter. So I talked about SPY. 384.92 is the 50 DMA. So that's on the daily. So that's the 50-day moving average. That's where we are. I think the last time we broke that was in early March, was right around the 5th. And then right when we broke that, we dropped about, I want to say based on this, again, that could have changed based on the timing. That dropped about $4 below the 50-day. So looking at that, you could get a little more pain, obviously. I put an alert at 38.492. I would suggest you guys do the same. If that breaks, then we can start looking, honestly, at some continuation for at least another $3 or $4 down to 380.61. I think that would be a very prudent move to do. Again, it's been very difficult to have puts in this market because the premiums have not been there since the call put ratios have not been consistent with a flush, to be honest with you. Keep in mind, with options, you do need demand, as always. SPY will always have demand, Qs will always have demand, but they definitely would move slower, obviously, with the premiums that are moving now because of demand. Again, when you have such a big difference between call put ratios, again, if you had more put ratios like you did last March, then your premiums are definitely going to increase quicker. But again, we got to see if we're going to get that acceleration to the downside. But what we've been getting is not just straight acceleration to the downside, but usually like 2 o'clock, 3 p.m. just flushes. And then we get certain bounces. And it's very difficult to time it. So again, I think 384.92 would be a nice support level for SPY. If you go ahead and break that, then I would target 380. But I wouldn't get the 380 puts. I would probably get the 382.50s or 382 puts. And that'd probably be your best bet. If you're looking at Qs here, Qs are still holding a support, which is kind of frustrating to see because you're like, okay, what's my next move? 309.70, below 310 would be a prudent way to do it. The only thing that would be frustrating, good for an investor, obviously, or you're a bull, but frustrating if you're a bear, is that we've kind of consistently bounced off that level this whole month. 309, 310 has been bounced twice, from the 19th, from the 9th. So right, every 10 days we've been there. So the question is, are we going to be able to break that? So that's really remains to be seen. So 309.70, I'd wait for that, and then I would target 305 or 303 on Qs. Be something to watch. So again, follow us on Twitter, again, for any kind of updates on breaks and moving averages as I go ahead and talk on there, because it's better than Instagram in regards to being live. With Instagram, I just have to post a picture and all this stuff. Twitter is a lot quicker, so make sure to follow us on Twitter. IWM, next one here. Now, this one is a little sexier of a chart. Looking at IWM, I was actually talking to students regarding this about yesterday. I was like, man, I wanted to short Russell, but then it bounced, and I'm glad I didn't. That was here. I was wanting to short here, and it bounced. And I'm like, okay, good thing I didn't. And then we had the flush. So really, you could target 207.61 for next week, since you did break support. You can see on the 100-day. If we look at the daily here, we did break below the 50-day moving average. 207.61 is really the last line of defense here. And that's really just where we are now. So if we put 207.61 below on IWM, when it comes to puts, indices always get the best vol. So again, I like to short the indices, especially when I'm going to the put side. If I went ahead and did the put side, again, it would just be below the 61.8 Fibonacci level on the daily based on 2021. 202.34 is your 100-day moving average. 207 or 208 wouldn't be a bad move here. Let's see the volume. Let's see if we can catch that. Main thing be the 208s for next week. Buy yourself some time. Maybe we get some continuation ahead of the end of the quarter rebalancing. Just something to think about. So again, I'm watching SPY, I'm watching Qs, I'm watching IWM. Let's go ahead and take a look at some pre-market movers, and then we'll answer some questions. Pre-market movers, NIO is down about 5.3%. Sundial's always there, 4.89%. Let's see here on the Dow. Apple's down nearly 1%. Nike down 6% due to some China news. So I'll be watching Nike. I own shares. I actually love the company. 0.42% to the upside on Microsoft, holding up strength. Cisco was price upgraded as well, up 1.67% on Cisco. Disney's down 2%. Disney, that $200 level has been just a tough one to break. Verizon up 0.18%. Coca-Cola pretty much flat. And Chevron down 1.24%. Tesla down 2.8%. Obviously, the Bitcoin thing, they are down. Obviously, Bitcoin is testing 51,000 or below. General Electric down 1.5%. Carnival down 2.5%. Ford down 1.89%. AMD was price upgraded, but is down 0.61%. Viacom continuing to go down 5.83% with a share offering, which dilutes current shareholders. Let's see what else here. Baidu down 6%. So Chinese names, again, we know the deal. The SEC is looking to kind of block some Chinese names out there. Intel down 0.38%. Micron down 1.8%. The semiconductors have been really holding back the NASDAQ. And semiconductors, guys, keep in mind, that's a big deal. The semiconductors, again, they have demand. There's just not enough supply. So the supply chain for semiconductors needs to boost. If anything, that tells me that NVIDIA and AMD long term is a very good investment long term, and I own both anyways. So again, the demand is there, autonomous vehicles and all that stuff like that, much needed. So I think these semiconductors like NVIDIA and AMD could give a nice buy the dip opportunity. Let's see where that is currently. NVIDIA. I think I have an alert down. Oh, let me see if I have that. I don't have the alert. So NVIDIA, really, your support here is right at the 200-day. And we're right at 500. So let's see if we do break 500. If we do, buying some shares of NVIDIA for sure. I would definitely have to buy some NVIDIA. And let's take a look at AMD. I love NVIDIA long term. AMD, I have 73.69 on my support. So that's where we are currently as we're accelerating a little bit. A couple of news items that came out. GDP was better than expected. Unemployment claims was better than expected. So, I mean, you're getting some good fundamentals out there. But for right now, it seems, again, price action rules all. And that's where we are currently. So I'll be watching the dollar. Again, see if we break that 200-day moving average, 92.67. As you can see, it's continuing up. On the hourly, it's breaking out. So that's hurting commodities. But yet bonds are doing well. There you go. So there is some bids on bonds. Let's see if SPY breaks 384.92. Again, we're going to see what Q's does. We're going to see what happens next. So let's answer some questions. Do you think we're going to go back to 2020 levels? Absolutely not. No. It depends on what day of 2020. Are you talking about December 2020? Or are you talking about March 2020? No. Absolutely not. No. What do you think are the reason for the sell-off? Will it continue next week? Again, a lot of majority factors. Again, I think a lot of it has to do with that on the NASDAQ, the semiconductor supply issue. That's really big. There's a lot of companies that are very much dependent on semiconductors. And these companies are going out of their way to try to fill the demand. And that's hurting these companies. A lot of it's valuations too. Valuations can be stretched. Look at the high flyers that were leading the way last year with the COVID economy. Those are pulling back. So again, it does hurt the NASDAQ since they were so big proportionally. Price to add on Square. Let's take a look at it. Square, my price to add is 194. An NQ100 entry point for the long term for Qs. Okay, so if we're looking at Qs to enter long term, you definitely want to take a look at the daily. Again, when it comes to investing long term, I think the daily chart is probably your best bet. Really, the best probably price you can get for NASDAQ would probably be 309.70. If you really wanted to wait for the correction, you want 303. Which is totally fine. That would be your correction level, which would be the 10% from all-time highs. Will Powell and Yellen speak again today? No, they already spoke last 2 days from the House and the Senate. I think Powell already had some pre-written statements that were said this morning. Price to add football TV. Football TV, I have an alert at 18.89, so I'm waiting for that. Good morning, Carlos. Do you have an end-of-the-year TP on Tesla price target? Yeah. Definitely 800. I think 800 is definitely in play. Minimum 800 on Tesla. I think Tesla will rebound, again, once you have earnings, and Bitcoin obviously will rebound. I like this Bitcoin Tesla thing. Love that. And they're going to have Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Again, we know the deal with Bitcoin is volatile. So what? You know, big deal. Any new technology, it's always been that way. So I think that Tesla has a lot more room up. Yesterday, right before someone opened 2 or 3 puts, 5 million. There you go. So someone got IWM on the put side. Nicely done. Is Nike a buy at these levels? Let me see. Nike had their earnings call and wasn't exactly stellar, but the demand is there for their items. The Americas didn't do so well, but their international did very well. So they're trading at 125.94. I have an alert at 115 to buy more on Nike. But Nike is a great company long-term. Consumer discretionary apparel, again, with the COVID economy, with the COVID reopening, obviously, I think Nike would be a big beneficiary. I determine buy levels. Again, I go by the gaps, I go by the daily, see the moving averages, and go from there. But again, you can set exactly what your buy target is. Again, when you walk into a car dealership, it's up to you how you want to base what price you want to buy, whether it's Kelly Blue Book value, maybe it's the dealer invoice price, plus something else, or what other people paid. It's really up to you. You determine what you want to pay for. Thoughts on MP Materials? I've never heard of that name. Spotify price to add. Spotify is probably one of my favorite apps on my phone. 254.74 is my buy level on Spotify. SQQQ for the day. Let's take a look at SQQQ. Remember, this is leveraged ETF, so I'd be very, very careful on this. It is looking to break out. If there is some vol, then it could probably be worth buying. 14.59, sure, if you get that break. Again, if it's a call option. Long Palantir. I still own Palantir long term, of course. Palantir, my alert is $19.99, and I'll definitely add some more. Let's see, where are we at? Tesla below 500. That's mine. I think someone asked about Alibaba. There you go. That's what I was looking for. Baba is 220 for me to add more. And do you think we'll see a bounce up on QQQ by end of the week? I think we're going to get a little more pain ahead on it, but I would not be surprised if we get a bounce. Again, that 309.70, we just broke it on Qs. Again, my alert didn't hit because the market's not open. So again, we are breaking it. We're breaking that support. The question is, does it hold up at the cash session? The cash session has been a little weird. If markets or futures are red, then, if futures are green, they sell it at the open. If futures are red, they buy it at the open. This is what it is, trading. Sometimes it can be frustrating. But again, we're already towards the tail end of March and the end of the quarter. Let's see what we get, of course. Let's see, Snow. I think, again, Qs. If Qs hit 303 by the end of the week, I expect a bounce. If we kind of stay between here, then we have a little more. 303 looks like a retest could come before the end of the month, especially with the rebalancing. And again, if the expectations are more bond buying and rotation out of equities to rebalance portfolios from mutual fund managers and hedge fund managers, okay, then yes, that would make sense. Let's look at Snow. I don't own Snowflake, but looking at it, it has been absolutely beaten down. And this is a cloud play, you would think. Adobe had a great quarter, and they fell too. So again, you're right at 208.35. You're really at major support on Snowflake. So if you're looking to buy Snowflake, probably now's the time. Absolutely, if you want to buy it. I'm good. I have enough cloud plays. So I think, in my opinion here, watching these markets, I really think there's nothing really to panic about since S&P is really only down 3% all-time highs. That's not awful. NASDAQ, yes, they were leading the way last year, so they're looking like to be the first one to fall. Look at Russell. Russell was up what, 79, 80% from last year, rolling, 52 weeks. Kind of a balance out there, but again, they took a little bit of a hit, obviously. But again, the names that you're looking for, again, named in your portfolio, this is where you want to look at what are some of the names that you've been wanting to buy, but the price is a little too high. Start writing them down, see which ones that you're looking for. Like, for example, Apple, to me, anything below 100 I'd buy, of course, and that's my largest position. On Tesla, anything below 500 I'd be buying. So this is where you start looking and start seeing your portfolio and start seeing, hey, what are some of the names that I've been really wanting to add more to? Like, for example, for me, NVIDIA. And for example, Apple if I needed some more, if I wanted to buy some more, or Tesla, for example. Write those down, have your little checklist, your shopping list, see what you've been wanting to buy, or you can just wait it out too. Another way to do it, again, I talked about it on Twitter, is if you're just an index investor and you just buy every paycheck, like you have a 401k, you're really not worrying about this kind of volatility anyways. And to be completely fair, the VIX is not really saying that, fear is out in the market yet. I don't see that. If we were nearing 24, 25 on the VIX, fine, but we actually were at 19 just yesterday, like 19 handles. So not exactly fear in the market. I would just call it rebalancing, if anything. Some profit taking, possibly. But I don't think there's much to fear there, in my opinion. I don't see circuit breakers. I don't see just waves of selling. You're getting some buys, you're getting some sells, some choppiness, sure, and you're getting some downward pressure. But other than that, I really don't see much to fear here. Nothing where it comes to the point where you're just throwing your hands up and just praying and hoping everything is okay. That was last March, but other than that, you're fine. So I would just wait on that. What reason turned Nasdaq futures to red today? There was some China headlines regarding the SEC that there were going to be some delisting. That hurts it. Bitcoin being down, that hurts it. But other than that, I mean, the Suez Canal boat thing, that's kind of a part of it. But I still think that that semiconductor shortage is big. That's really hurting the market. Now we're getting a little bit of a bump up here. So, if there was a time to look at the market now and kind of audit your portfolio and see what are some of the names that you are happy with and some of the names that did very well, maybe you don't really want to hold or longer term, and that's totally fine. Maybe consolidate a little bit, fine. Maybe if you get a little bit of a boost, you can probably start taking some profits on some names that you've been just, not really crazy about. Any stock that I have in my portfolio, I absolutely love. Like, I have to be in love with them to hold them, to go through the nonsense, to go through the ups and downs. The question is, do you want to hold them? So I would take the time today and tomorrow, start rebalancing your own portfolio. See, hey, I love this one. I don't like this one. I can sell this and take some profit. What am I really looking forward to the long term? What in 5 years is going to be better? For example, for me, Palantir would be something. In 5 years, 10 years, I know it's going to go ahead and do well. So that's something that I've been wanting to add more of. Well, with that being said, that's your job as an investor. Your job as someone who's managing your own money. You're your own hedge fund. Think of it that way. All right, guys, we'll leave it there. Later today, after the bell, we'll do the market recap, and we'll see where we are from there. And that's on IGTV, Instagram. I'll do that every day after market close. Morning notes in the morning with you guys. And of course, guys, Twitter. I highly recommend that you follow us, turn on notifications, and so you can get kind of the play-by-play of the markets day, markets movement. So I'm watching to see what's in the next move, and we'll let you know. GARcapitalfx.com is the website. Click bottom right-hand corner on the screen in front of you. Turn on notifications, subscribe to our channel, like our videos. Really do appreciate it if you do. And we'll leave it there, guys. Have a great rest of your Thursday. I will catch you later today for our market recap, and catch you on Twitter, guys. Cheers.